Hello, and welcome to episode 26 of the Crazy Knitter Studio podcast. My name is Kristen, also known as Crazy Knitting Fool on Ravelry, and I'm your host. Today is Saturday, September 3rd, 2016, and I'm calling this episode Football, y'all. So I wanted to welcome all new viewers. I hope you like what you see, and if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. So starting lineups, the introductions. There were no introductions this week, so if you would like to get a little shout out on the show, come on over to the Ravelry group and introduce yourself in the thread, and I'll give you a shout out. So Presser, the weeks in review. What has been going on the last couple weeks? Well, Little Man's summer camp ended on the 19th of August, so the last 2 weeks he's been off. He's been off a couple days with my husband. My dad came out one day to watch him, and then I was off with him Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week, and Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. So we had some shenanigans to go on. So on Wednesday of last week, we went up to Flint, which is about 45 minutes north of us, and we went to Huckleberry Railroad. And this is an old 150-year-old steam engine. You take the ride through the park, and it's fun. We had a good time, so we did that. They have a old-time village, so we walked through the village for a while. We also went on the boat ride, which we could have, I think, passed on. It wasn't that great. It poured rain right before we got on the boat, so, but still, it's a man-made lake, and there was no, narration or anything. Like on the train, they give you a little rundown of everything and about the history, and there's nothing on the boat. It wasn't that great, so, but the little man wanted to go on it, so that's all that matters. So we were up there for the day. It was fun. It was not too hot, which was nice, and we ate lunch there, and we had ice cream, of course, and he had a good time. He liked it. We have to go back because my husband was upset that he didn't get to go because he had to work. And he's never been, so they do special events for Halloween and Christmas, so we'll go back. And then Thursday of last week, we did back to school shopping, which was fun. He doesn't need clothes. My husband buys him clothes all during the year, so he doesn't really need any new clothes. Well, he needs pajamas, but that's not for school. So he just needed to get his school supplies and his new backpack because his other backpack broke, so the zipper. So we did that on Thursday. And then on Friday of last week, we went out to Michigan State and walked around, and I showed him campus. We had lunch with my sister because she works in Lansing, so it was nice. And we went to my dorm where I lived my freshman year, and then my junior and half of my senior year before I left the school, or was asked to leave, as they say. I didn't go to class, didn't do homework. Yeah, so it's a big regret, but it happens. I learned a big lesson from it. So, but anyway, so we went there, and let me tell you, in 22 years since I was a freshman, things have changed, and oh my gosh, I want to move back in. Now, we didn't see the room, obviously. It was move-in, so they started classes on the 31st, so it wasn't too crazy yet. I think probably Saturday and Sunday were probably really crazy with move-ins, but so we didn't get to see my room. I showed him outside. We went in the courtyard, and I pointed out the window that was my room. But the lounge, they've completely redone everything. It's so nice. And so I lived in a complex called Brody. So there's 6 residence halls, and then a big hall in the middle, which has classrooms and offices and the cafeteria, which I don't know if this is still true, but it used to be the largest non-military cafeteria in America. Again, I don't know if that's still true or not. But so we went over into the main hall, Brody, and we walked around, and again, completely has changed. It is so nice. My husband says it's the football money because the football team is good now. So it's the football money coming in and, helping renovations. But we did that. And then we went and we parked over by the football stadium, and we walked to the big statue Sparty, and took pictures with Sparty. And then we went to the chapel where we got married. My husband and I got married, and we went in, and he thought it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. The chapel was built in, I believe, in the 50s, and it's dedicated to the alumni who died during wars, going all the way back to the Civil War, which was the first war after the university was founded. So they have all the names up to that point, obviously. So it was, I think actually it was the 60s, because there were people who I think were Vietnam soldiers. So we were looking at the names and like the years, and he was like pointing out the names and like, oh, that guy died in 1872. And it's like, yeah, that was a long time ago. So he found that fascinating. And then we went to the dairy store and had ice cream. Again. But you can't go there and not have ice cream. It's the best ice cream in the world, in my opinion. But it was crazy. It was hot that day, and because it was move-in time, there was a lot of people at the dairy store, so it was pretty crowded. But they actually got us in and out pretty fast. I think we only waited in line like 5 minutes, so that's good. So, and then last Saturday, we had my second cousin's wedding of the summer, and it was interesting. Now, my cousin and her fiance, or now husband, are just, they're simple. Well, they borderline redneck. Okay, I'll just put it out there. They're great kids, but they're kind of rednecks. And the wedding was kind of reflected that. It was fun. We had a good time. My husband just felt kind of uncomfortable. It wasn't his crowd. So we didn't stay very long. Little man said he wasn't feeling good. He said he had a headache, so I don't know. So, but they had fried chicken and macaroni and cheese, and they served it on styrofoam plates, and you had plastic silverware, which if you've ever tried to eat fried chicken on the bone with plastic silverware, it's not exactly easy. And so we cleared our own tables. They didn't have any wait staff to clear the tables. It was an interesting wedding. It was all country music for the most part. Yeah, it was interesting. But it suited them, I will say that. It definitely was their personalities, their likes. Like, the guys were wearing shorts and ties and short sleeve shirts. And ties and short sleeve shirts I just find funny looking. I don't know. Anyway, so, and moving on to this week, Monday we had open house at school, and that week, so we went in and we met the teacher, and little man wanted to go back and see his first grade teacher, and so we went back to her room. And this is the sign of a good teacher, is when we were there maybe 5 minutes. She had like 6 or 7 kids. Like, they had my son and 2 of his classmates from last year were there. And then she had a bunch of other kids who had her at one point, you know. Some of them probably looked like they were 5th grade or going into 5th grade. And everybody coming up and hugging on her and everything. And I said to my husband, that's a sign of a good teacher. So our teacher this year, I knew she was going to have a lot to live up to, but we've gotten lucky. So hopefully 3rd year's also good. So she seems very nice, and she I could tell had read his IEP, his individualized education plan, because she had made some comments about things that, and it was like, okay, she's read it, so that made me happy. And then I was supposed to work from home the rest of the day. Yeah, didn't happen. I couldn't get logged in. So I had little man with me. He was supposed to be with my husband, but he wasn't feeling good. My husband wanted to go to a couple stores, and I knew he wasn't feeling good because my husband goes to these consignment stores, and when he takes Clark with them, the girls fawn over him and they give him candy and stuff. So If he told me he didn't want to go, I know he wasn't feeling good. So I had to end up taking him in to work with me. He sat there for about 20 minutes, waiting for my husband to come get him. I bribed him. I told him, I said, if you're good and you're quiet, we'll go visit the candy bowl. So we visited the candy bowl, and then he got McDonald's for dinner. So he did good. And Tuesday he had a dentist appointment, no cavities. So Tuesday and Wednesday we really didn't do anything. Tuesday we went, like I said, to the dentist, and then we went to the dollar store, and we came home. And then Tuesday we watched a movie, and then Wednesday we just went out to the grocery store, and then I had to pack him up, and him and my husband are gone for the weekend. They left Wednesday night. They won't be back until tomorrow. I'm starting to feel a little lonely. I like my alone time, but this is a long time. This is the longest they've been away. And anyway. And then yesterday was the first Michigan State football game of the season. They didn't play very well. I'm a little concerned if this is how they're going to play. They're going to get their behinds kicked. But it was fun. So I came home from work and watched the game and had pizza for dinner. So it was fun. All right, so moving into the knitting. 11 minutes in. Wow. I told you I had some shenanigans. So first downs, whips. So the first one is the Bumpy Road 2.0, which is the Bumpy Road shawl by Ami. This is size 4, 3.5 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Deborah Norville Serenity Sock in purple. And I'll be honest, I have not been knitting much. I don't know. My mojo's kind of in the toilet. This is all I did on this. Like 4 rows. Not much. I almost feel like I shouldn't show you guys this stuff because it's so... I don't know. There's not much progress, but oh well. So second up is the Little Angel blanket, which is the Little Angel Baby blanket by me also. And it's size 8, 5.0 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Red Heart Super Saver in lemon. I counted this one. I know I did 2 rows. Again, not much. I don't know. All right, third. The my Root Beer City Rollers, which is the Rose City Roller pattern by Mara Catherine Briner. And these I'm knitting on size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Green Mountain Spinnery Sock Art Forest in Sarsaparilla, hence why I call them the Root Beer City Rollers. So I don't know if I can, so this is where I was. See it better that way. So again, not much. I don't know why socks just seem to take me forever to knit. I don't know why. I see people and they bust out a pair in like 2 days, and for me it takes months to make shorty socks. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. First down, number 4 is my birthday morning shawl. This is the Autumn Morning pattern by Holly Depp. I'm using size 6, 4.0 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Knit Picks palette in blue note heather and oyster heather. Here's the pattern. It's a paid for one on Ravelry. And this is one that I got more progress on. So, where I was, there I am. This one's coming along. That one's so easy, that's why it gets I think a little more progress. Because it's just garter stitch and knit in front and back and knit 2 together, so it's very easy. Alright, first down, number 5, is the Tiger's Market Bag, which is the Toddler Market Bag pattern by Heather Blum. And I'm using size 8, 5.0 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Sugar and Cream in Hot Orange, or as I call it, Tiger Orange, for our Detroit Tigers, which is why I call it my Tiger Market Bag. So, again, this pattern is very easy. It's free on Ravelry. It's just you knit around, Then you double yarn over, knit 2 together in the next round. And when you knit the round, you drop the extra yarn over. That's what makes the mesh. So very, very easy and mindless. Apparently I just need mindless. It's getting to be crazy. It's that time of year. At work and at school. Well, getting ready for school. And little man's birthday. Okay, so first down, number 6, are my blue artichoke socks, which is the artichoke sock pattern by Megan Humphrey. Free on Ravelry. And I'm using size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles, and the yarn is sheep, I can never say this, so sheep dreamery aquatine, or no, allure is the yarn base, and it's in aquatine is the color. So here's where I was last time. I turned the heel and started, I think I finished the decrease. Oh no, I haven't finished the decreases yet. So this is sock number 2, April 2015. I think these were starting. Again. Don't know why it takes me so long to knit socks. Okay. First down, number 7 is the Joy Ornament, which is the Joy Ornament Christmas pattern by Amalia Samios. Again, free on Ravelry. And I'm using size 4, 3.5 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Lion Brand Woolies in Ranch Red. And here's the J for Joy. It's really curling up. So what you do is you knit 2 of each letter, and then you sew them together and stuff them. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do the J and the Y in red and the O in green, or if I'm going to do Joy totally in red and then another Joy totally in green. But I have some time to figure that out. And then my final first down, which is number 8, is my birthday Spider-Man. So little man's birthday is Monday. I have spoken of his love of Spider-Man. We have one of his pieces of artwork here on our wall of Spider-Man. Made the Spider-Man blanket of doom a few months ago when I first started, or a year ago when I started podcasting. Still have nightmares about that blanket every time I see it. But, so this is the Spider-Man knitted toy by Stana di Sortor. I'm using size 3, 3.25 millimeter needles. Oh, here's the pattern. And I'm using Red Heart Super Saver in red and blue and Karen Simply Soft in black. So here's his first leg. Now, you knit the first leg, you cut the yarn, then you knit the second leg, and you somehow join them together and knit the body. So, like I said, little man's birthday is Monday, so they'll be home sometime tomorrow evening, so it's like 3:30, so sometime I really need to get a move on with this. This took me, though, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes last night, so it goes very fast, so that's in my favor. So, moving on, now I have my touchdowns. Hold on, I'm going to take a drink real quick. Iced tea. Okay, touchdowns, which are my FOs. So I have Preemie Hat, number 21, which is the Teardrops of Hope Preemie Cap by Michael Lee and Ethan Fose. I use size 3, 3.25 millimeter needles, and the yarn is Regia Calf Facet Design in 4250. I'm trying to not cover up my face. And there's a hair. My hair gets in everything. That was a very nice, simple, easy pattern. And then I finished Preemie Hat number 22, which is the Lady in Pink pattern by Lucy Prorokova. I use size 3, 3.25 millimeter needles, and again the Regia Calf Facet Design in 4250. It's just a cute little textured pattern. So 2 more towards my goal of 52. don't think I'm going to make it, but well. And then I also finished another Doctor Who blanket square. This is number 11. And this pattern is the I Heart Doctor Who dishcloth by Holly and Arf. Use size 6, 4.0 millimeter needles. And it's Knit Picks Mighty Stitch in Celestial. So, I want to make sure I'm showing it to you the right side. So, can't really see it very well. You can kind of see it. I Heart DW. Alright, so that's all the touchdowns. 3 really small things. Oh well. So, turnovers, mistakes. You may have noticed there is a project missing from my first downs. That's my university mitts. So, I messed up the color work. When I ripped it back, I messed something else up, and so I just ripped it back to the ribbing, and I have not touched it since, so that's why I didn't show it to you. So, oh well. Okay, training camp, future projects. So I have to knit a baby sweater for my coworker, but I don't have to, but I really don't want to. I don't really like her very much, but I've knit one for every other person on our team, and the one girl who is very sweet, but just doesn't get it, kind of blabbed that this is my thing, so now I feel like I have to do it. So I have the yarn. I'm going to use the same yarn I'm using for my baby blanket. I have another skein of it downstairs in my stash. So she's having a girl, but, you know, yellow is a good. I'm not big on doing blue for boys and pink for girls anyway, so yellow will work, and I don't know what pattern I'm going to do yet, but her shower's on Thursday, so I better get moving. As soon as I finish that Spider-Man baby sweaters next on the list. My show notes are not cooperating. Alright, so moving on into concessions, which are purchases. So I won from the Dyer's Notebook one of her podcast giveaways, and it was a bag from Bags by Awesome Granny, and I got to pick out which one I wanted, and so I picked this one, and I love it. I think it is adorable. It is elephants attached to hot air balloons. How cute is this? And then it's pretty big. It's definitely like a sweater size bag. And then here's the inside and her label. So, and it came with a little matching notions pouch, which is cute. Now, I love elephants. And little man, when he was born, my sister bought him a elephant that played music. And Elephant, as he was called, went everywhere with us. He's pretty beat up. We still have him. He played music. He no longer plays. I mean, he quit playing music a long time. And a funny story about Elephant is that Clark was in an in-home daycare until he was almost 4. Or, no, almost 3. And when my husband went to pick him up one day, Miss Amy, our daycare provider, was like, I can't find it, the elephant. She's like, he had him. And then he was gone. She's like, I've looked everywhere. She's like, I can't find him. She's like, I don't know what, you know. She's like, I'm sorry. So he was missing for like 2 weeks. And she finally found him. And he had stuffed him so far into the couch that she didn't find him until somebody came to visit her. And it was a hide-a-bed. And she went to go pull the hide-a-bed out for their guests. And Elephant came popping out. He shoved him way in there. So, that's funny. But I like elephants because it makes me think of little man. So, and then the other day I had to go to Michael's to get stuffing for Spider-Man. And I usually go to Joann's. I like Joann's better. I don't like the Michael's by us. It's kind of dank and dreary. But I wanted to go to Michael's because they have if you're on Instagram, you've probably seen it a lot, the Karen cakes. So it's Michael's exclusive by Karen Yarns, and it's like a gradient yarn. So I wanted to go check it out. So that's why I went to Michael's instead. And they didn't have any colors that really spoke out to me. And you have to get 2 balls. So it would have been like $16. And I was like, yeah. This is an expensive time of year with back to school and little man's birthday. And it's like, I really don't need to be spending that money on yarn that I don't really love. So, but the one thing about Michael's is they have a good clearance bin. Joann's really doesn't, at least the one by us. So I looked in their clearance bin and I found this, which is Isaac Mizrahi Craft. It's 100% acrylic, but it's in the Huntsman colorway. So it's light blue, dark blue, and silver. I just thought it was really cute. So, and it was marked, was $5.99, marked down to $2.99, and it was an additional 70% off. So I said, why the heck not? So I don't know what I'll make with it. I'm thinking maybe a shawl, like a hitchhike, not necessarily a hitchhiker, but something of that kind of ilk. So those are my purchases. So moving on into the film room, which are books, TV, and etc. So I finished since last time Tea with Jam and Dread by Tamar Myers from the Pennsylvania Dutch series. I think the series has jumped the shark. I don't know. It wasn't that good of a book, but yeah. I'll probably, if she writes another one, I'll read it. It was interesting to read it because it just came out like 2 months ago, so it was like she's talking about Donald Trump and like all this stuff in there, so that was pretty funny. And now I'm reading Killer Gourmet by G.A. McKevitt, which is in the Savannah Reed mystery series. So Savannah Reed is a private investigator in the beautiful little resort town of San Carmelita, California, and she comes from Georgia. She has like 9 siblings, and they're all named after cities in Georgia. So she's Savannah. Her brother, who's moved out to California with her, his name is Waycross. And in this story, 2 of their best friends are opening a restaurant, and the chef is murdered in the kitchen on the opening night. So they're trying to figure out what happened. So far, so good. So in TV, I've been trying to catch up with the TV shows I've recorded while the Olympics were on when I didn't watch anything. So I started the new season of Ice Road Truckers. Again, I think the show might have jumped the shark, but I'll keep watching. So, and then another show that's definitely jumped the shark is Ghost Hunters, but it's the last season, so I didn't even watch the previous season. I recorded it, and I was so far behind on everything, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to watch this, but it's the final season. So, and I watched the first 2 episodes. The 3rd episode takes place at the Whitney, which is a very fancy restaurant downtown Detroit. My husband and I have always said that we need to go, and we never have. But so I've heard for years that's supposed to be haunted. So that's the 3rd episode. So I haven't watched it yet, but. And then also on Sci-Fi, I've watched Paranormal Witness, which is a story where they do reenactments, and then they do interviews with these people who have had, these weird things happen to them. So I like that show. It scares me. I was watching it the other night alone. Probably not a good idea. I didn't have any nightmares, but it's probably not a good idea. And then in the last week or so, little man and I have watched 2 movies. So we watched Kung Fu Panda 3. So I don't think you really have to, but I hadn't seen Kung Fu Panda 1 or 2, so neither had he. But so, I mean, I kind of knew the basic gist of the stories, but so it was alright. It wasn't great, but it was okay. And then we watched Muppets from Space, which is an old one. It's probably like 10 or 15 years old, but I love the Muppets. So in this one, Gonzo is being contacted by his family from outer space. And of course, the government, is in finds out and, is trying to, get in on it. So I love it. I love the Muppets. So that was good. So we're into the post game, which is the wrap up. So you can contact me on Ravelry. I'm Crazy Knitting Fool. On Twitter, it's Crazy Knit Fool. Instagram, it's Crazy Knitter Studio. The blog is Crazy Knitter Studio crazyknitterstudio.blogspot.com. The email is crazyknitterstudio@gmail.com. And the Ravelry group is Crazy Knitter Studio. So come on over, introduce yourself. I'll give you a shout out. And the next episode will be in 2 weeks, September 17th. Might be the 18th. 17th. It's going to be kind of busy. We have a couple of things that day, but my hope is to do it at least on the 18th. So, I guess that's it. So I hope you guys have a good couple of weeks. Stay out of trouble, and if you can't stay out of trouble, just don't get caught. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.